Alright, so you guys can probably see my food storage back here. I bought some different shelving that's a little bit deeper so that my like my flour tubs and that will fit under it a little better, and it'll be sturdier and hold more, you know, jars going back against the wall. So we're gonna start swapping those out today. My husband is opening up the first box. We're gonna put it together and then we're gonna start switching things out. Oh, I guess the shelf thing would have to go on the inside, right? For the shelf to sit on it, right? Okay. So like this is down. So it said go one up. So skip the first one. Except it's gonna have to be turned so you get both of them this way.
This one?
Yes.
So the one up.
I just set it on the ground. I was trying to make it easier for you. Because, oh, yeah, okay. This is upside down. Maybe.
Oh, I see what you're saying. The shelf goes on this.
Yeah. So this end goes over here. Have it, leave it the same way you had it.
Yeah.
No, flip it back the other way. No, like that. Now, make it so this side is on this side. No, so this. Okay. Now, does that make sense? Yeah, because now
No, the shelf is
the shelf will sit right there. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, God, I was so confused.
I was like, I don't know.
Alright, so, okay. I really don't understand how these things are going to stay together. You know what I mean?
What do you mean, man?
Like how the next set of legs is going to...
I think it's just going to hit on here again, and then the more you put the braces and the shelves, it just...
So do we like cross it over and put a shelf there? You know what I mean?
Oh, right at the seam? Oh,
Oh, it should be something else in there. It should be a post coupler. Whatever that means.
Oh, there's some right here. These things.
Oh, good. That makes me feel better because I was
So
like,
that's the price at the
I don't
corner?
understand. Yeah, I was like, I don't understand how that's going to work.
We were struggling just a little bit trying to figure out how to put this thing together.
What's that?
Oh, you know what? That goes on the top.
From the sharp pieces?
Okay, so this just kind of looks like it just kind of sits on here.
Looks like
Or
it.
unless I have it the wrong
It's
way.
got like a, looks like it has like a slider thing right here.
Yeah, it fits on one side. Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. It's kind of hard to get on there.
I had to look at this one too.
Well, I'm like, which way am I supposed to be going with this booger? I think it goes right there. There we go. See, this is like way too much space. And then, I don't know what the best way to switch these out is.
Probably just take it all out and put it on the floor.
Yeah,
Ground.
okay.
We don't-
Because we'll have to totally empty these two.
'Cause
so
if we
can
don't,
move
we'll end
these- this one down.
Busting the jar or something.
Yeah. Whew. Now that we understand how this booger works, now it'll be easier to put the next one together.
See, that would be...
Okay, so should we stack that stuff over there?
Yeah, on the carpet, just because.
Okay, so apparently the shelves that I bought that I thought I ordered 24-inch deep are still only 18-inch deep. So we are not going to switch all these out because they're the same size as the ones I have. So we had already taken everything off that first set of shelves. So now I've got it put back, but I'm trying to figure out the best way to organize what I've got. We're putting some cardboard on these shelves because they're the metal shelves and the jars kind of get stuck. I want to put the things that I'm going to use the most on these two shelves. Alright, so let's do pizza sauce. Pizza sauce, and I have some more pizza sauce in here. Unless I put it someplace else.
I was get scared of it.
Alright. Someplace we have ketchup, tomato soup. Oh yeah, there's some soup and stuff.
Dust.
Yeah, and dust. So now I've got room for my pasta sauce. Okay, so here's my 10,000 jars of green beans. Although, look how far we've whittled them down. Although I think this is green beans. Actually, I think this is green beans. These are the newest beans. We're making some progress. So we did end up going ahead and putting together the other two cabinets that I bought like this. I'm actually using one around the corner at the end here, so I've got like a little pantry corner. And then the other two we're going to put over there, and we've got a bunch of stuff on that other piece, that back corner of this part of the garage that we can use to organize. We've got some paint supplies and things that we don't want to go out into the garage where it'll be too cold or too hot. So I feel pretty good about this. We made a lot of progress today. It was also good to be able to go through all of my jars because I found some that were no longer sealed. So I pulled those out so I can put those in the compost. And one of these days then I'll be able to tackle the rest of the garage. I'll be able to tackle the rest of this room. Finish with organizing my other holiday decorations, and there's probably stuff in here that just needs to go, but made good progress. I feel good about what we got done today. So the other thing I want to do today is I have some frozen vegetables that I bought specifically for freeze drying. So now that I've got my freezers all cleaned out and organized, I'm going to get that started. So I've got a bunch of these little packages of carrots and peas. I'm going to get those open and out on my Harvest Right trays. Alright, so there's one tray. Ooh, cold. Okay. I always forget how this works. So I haven't used it enough yet since I got it basically in winter. So we're going to start this, and we want to wait 15 minutes before we load our trays. I'm going to go ahead and load my trays. We want to close our drain valve. and now it's going to start freezing. Once it's reached the freezing temperature, then it will start drying. So we're gonna let that go. It's probably gonna take 12 to 18 hours at least. So we will check on it probably tonight just to see where we're at, and then we'll check again in the morning. All right, so the first batch of carrots and peas I just pulled out of the freeze dryer. Sorry for the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse in the background here. We've got our grandbaby, and that's her current favorite show. So these are nice and dry. They're like very light, so that's one of the ways you can tell that they're done. So I put the other four bags of carrots and peas, and then I put the bags of frozen corn that I had. So I've got those started, so they should be done tomorrow. So I'm just taking all of this and I'm putting it just in a glass jar for storage, and then when we want to use some of this, we can just take it out and rehydrate it. Okay, that's not working. Guess I'll keep getting it with my hands because I'm making a mess. One. Say peas and carrots. You say carrots? Mommy. I'm Grandma. Okay, so that pretty much filled this jar up, so I'll probably have to get, well, I will have to get something else when the rest of those come in. So there's those. I'm going to put those away. I know. You want up? Okay. Alright, so that turkey that I took out of the freezer yesterday, I'm going to just roast it up today, and then I'm going to cut it in big hunks and can it. But the turkey is still a little bit frozen, so I'm going to put it in a sink of cold water until I can get the bag of gizzards and stuff out of it, and then we'll stick it in the oven. Alright. Got my turkey in this dish. Got my oven preheated to 300 because I'm just going to cook this nice and slow. But I just want to pour some oil over it. And then we'll salt it up and stick it in the oven. Dump some salt down in there. All right, I'm just gonna put this now in the 300-degree oven, and it'll probably cook for 3 or 4 hours. And then when it's all done, I'll go ahead and let it cool, and then I'm gonna pull off the meat in big chunks, and I'll can it up probably in quart jars. All right, so we got our turkey cooked the other day, and I did not have time to get it cut up, so I just covered it up and stuck it in the refrigerator. And I cooked it most of the way. I didn't cook it complete until it was completely done, because it's gonna continue to cook when we can it, so we don't want it to be too done. So I'm just going to start cutting this in chunks. And putting it into jars. And I am going to separate the dark meat from the light meat. I'm going to use pints. And I'm going to pull the skin off wherever I can. We don't want the skin. And I'm just going to put it in hunks. I don't want it to be in too small of pieces, but we don't want it in humongous hunks either, so. And the pasta sauce that I was working on, I gave it another taste, and I didn't like that I could taste the seeds in there or feel the seeds in there, I guess. So I did go ahead and strain it. I just put batches of it through a sieve and used a spoon to kind of work it around until I had gotten all the juice through. And then once I'd gotten all of that juice out and I just had pulp left, then we gave all that pulp to the chickens, and they were very happy to have it. So you can see, well, I don't know if you can see, but this meat is still pink near the bone, and that's what we want, because that way when we can it, it's not so cooked that it ends up being tasteless and dry. And then we'll use the carcass and whatever little pieces of meat are left to make some more stock. I don't really need any more stock right now, but I don't want to stick anything else in my freezer. So I will go ahead and just make some stock and can it up, because you can use your poultry stock, well, any stock, you can use it in so many things. And you can can this in pints or quarts, depending on how big your family is, what you're planning to use it for, you know, how much you're going to be using at one time. Since it's just my husband and I'm just going to do pints. And then if I'm doing something where, if I'm doing something where like the kids are here or something and we need more, then I'll just use 2 or 3 or whatever I think I need. And in case you did not know, meat has to be pressure canned. You cannot water bath, you cannot water bath can meat. The water bath canner just does not get hot enough to build up the pressure that you need inside your jar to make it safe. So please do not ever try to water bath can meat. All right, set that one to the side, start the next one. And you want to leave about 1 inch of about 1 inch of head space in your jars. And I tend to use turkey and chicken pretty much interchangeably, so we can make this work for any recipe that we wanted to use with shredded turkey or shredded chicken, chicken tacos. That would be a good dish to make with this. Any kind of like chicken or turkey salad. But this cleared out my freezer a little bit and gives me something that's going to be usable for a quick meal. I can just grab a jar or two depending on what I want to make, pop it open, and just use it like I would fresh cooked chicken or turkey. And I typically use typically in the past I have used leftover dark turkey meat to make soup, but I have a bunch of soup in my storage right now, so I don't need to make any more probably for this season. In fact, I'll probably give some to my kids because they love it. And I actually opened a jar and ate some when I was sick last time, and it was awesome to be able to just pop that open, have that nice thick broth, hearty noodles. It's delicious. I love it. All right, I think I have all the meat off of this that I'm gonna get, so I'm gonna wash my hands. All right, so I should have done this before I washed my hands. I'm gonna take this carcass and the skin and all these bones, and I'm gonna put it back in this dish for now because I'm using the pot that I want to use for this. It has my pasta sauce in it cooking down, so I'm just gonna set this to the side for a little while. There's all that good gel from the bones. I want to keep that. for our stock. Alright. Now I'm going to wash my hands again. And I may end up just putting that stock, making that stock in a different pot. Okay, so now we're going to fill our jars with hot water. If you notice, I tried to put all of these in wide mouth jars because it's easier to get the meat out of this wide mouth jar. And so we want to fill this to our 1-inch headspace, and then I'm going to take a spatula and poke, or a spoon or something, and poke down in there and make sure that we've debubbled. Whoops. And then we'll double check our headspace and make sure that if it needs more water, we can go ahead and add it. That one needs more water. This one needs a little bit. Alright, so I've got 3 more. I'm pouring water all over my counter. Alright, so let's debubble these. Put that meat down there. And that one needs a little water. Let's see. Okay, so for these jars, I am going to put some vinegar on my paper towel before I clean the edges, because I want to make sure that I get any of that grease from the meat off the edges, because we don't want any of these, we don't want to prevent anything from sealing. And then I don't think I brought my lids in here, so I've got to go get those. All right, so we've got our jars all cleaned off, and I'm going to go get my lids. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and start my, I'm going to go ahead and start this. Oh my gosh, I can't ever get this thing on. Oh, I was going backwards. Okay. And I've looked this up 3 times and I keep forgetting. I think it's 1 hour and 15 minutes, but let me just double check. 1 hour and 15 minutes. If you're using quarts, it's 1 hour and 30. So we want to turn these just finger tight, so there we go, just until it stops. And I'm going to go ahead and set these in my canner, and I don't know if I can get, I think I can get 6 pints in here, maybe not, might just be 5. We'll see. Alright, so it is 6 pints. So that leaves me, we've got 2 left. So I'm going to put the lid on those. There we go. And we'll just set these over here. Okay, so now I'm going to hit pressure can. And then on mine, this electric one, you choose the time. So we want 75 minutes. Insert jars, which I just did. And so now I'm going to put the lid on. And snap it into place, but I'm not going to put the regulator on. So I'm not going to put the weight on yet. And then I will say, okay, so now it's going to warm up and it will beep at me when it's time to do something else. And I know I could get all 8 of these in a stovetop canner, but since I've already got my pasta sauce cooking down, my stove isn't that big, and so I don't want to try and maneuver 2 things at once. Okay, so the first batch of cooked or canned turkey is done. I've got the other 2 jars in, and then since this pot's going to be busy for a while, I went and got a different one, and I'm going to go ahead and add my turkey carcass into this pot. We want to get all of that goodness in there. I've got this bag of veggie pieces in my freezer that I'm going to use. I'm just going to pour all of that in there with my turkey, and then I'm just going to add some water to this. So I'm going to turn this on. I'll slide this back to this back burner because it's a little bit bigger, and I'm just going to let this cook for a little while. I need to go find the lid, but I'm going to let this come to a boil and let it cook, and then after a while then we'll strain out all of the veggies and pull off the meat and the bone, and then we will jar up our stock and we'll run it through the pressure canner as well. Okay, so now I've got the stock all cooked, so now I just need to strain out the vegetables and the bones, and then I can jar this up. Oh, I guess I need more jars. I, like a goofball, I put all of my jars away, not thinking about the fact that I was actually working on things. Oh well, I'll go get them. Alright, so these are clean. I just took them out of the dishwasher earlier, but then, like a goofball, I took them to the garage. So I'm going to go ahead and run these under hot water. And I actually want to kind of strain this a little bit first. So I'm going to go ahead and pour this through. I've got my sieve here and another bowl. I'm going to go ahead and pour that slowly through this sieve. So that will catch some of the bigger pieces of meat and vegetables. So it wasn't a whole lot, but it was enough that it would have made the broth a little bit kind of scummy, I guess. I don't know. It would have made it not as clear. You can strain it through. You can go ahead and strain it through like a cheesecloth or something like that. I don't usually worry about that. I just let it go like this. So I'm just going to dip this up and pour it in my jars. Ooh. Alright, so I got 4 quarts and a pint. So where are my lids? So like always, I'm going to go ahead and wipe the rims out of my jars. Even though for once I did a reasonable job of putting things in the jars without spilling them. Well, I spilled them, but I didn't like spill them all over the rim of the jar. Alright, so just like always, we're going to put these on just finger tight. And then I'm going to put these in my pressure canner. All right, and I never can remember, so I'm going to look up and see how long I can my broth. 20 minutes for pints and 25 for quarts. So we're gonna go ahead and set that for 25 minutes, but I'm gonna get my jars in. And I do not have my weight on there, so I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna pressure can. I already forgot how many minutes. My goodness. 25 minutes. So set that for 25. Our jar's already in. Okay, so that's gonna start warming up. And then when it's ready for the next step, it'll beep at me and I can go ahead and get that going. All right, friends, I'm gonna go ahead and close out this video. So we got our basement storage all cleaned up and organized. I know what I've got now, thank goodness. And we made, I don't remember what we made. We did some freeze drying and I'm not sure what else we did in this video. But one thing I want to talk about really quickly is how important it is to go through your stored items periodically, because I was looking for something downstairs and I happened to come across these 2 jars of corn that looked a little funny, and they're still sealed. However, the seal is bad, and I don't know if you can see in this one. It's got mold and all kinds of grossness growing in it. This one was barely sealed, but I could tell because it was starting to get dark on top. So this could have been from anything. It could have been that my lids, my lids could have been bad. I just could have had a defective lid. We moved last year, and so my products, my jars went from one house in a truck into this other house, got moved around, so it could have been that they got banged around and loosened up a little bit, but regardless, ooh, these smell terrible. Regardless, it is important to, periodically check your home canned products and make sure that you're not seeing anything like this. We had jars that were stacked in the move, and so that could have caused it. I don't know, but anyway, so these are going in the compost, but I just want to thank everybody for watching as I cleaned up my really messy basement and everything else that we've done in this video. And if you like this video, please hit the like button, share it with your friends. If you are not subscribed, you just hit that subscribe button, and if you hit the little notification bell, then you'll get a notification every time a new video of mine gets released. I generally try to post new videos on Tuesdays and Fridays. Right now they've been mostly focused on inside since it's cool and we're in the middle of winter, so mostly cooking, baking, some garden prep, but as the weather gets warmer, then we'll start going outside, working more with the animals, getting into our garden, and all of those other homesteading activities. So once again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye guys.